Today I'm going to talk about America, the police state. By the time I'm through, within an hour, you're going to have a completely different view of the country you live in. I've told you again and again, it is not a country, it is not a nation, it is a cage fight. America is the ultimate expression of the war of every man against every man. And a beautiful example of this is the 60-minute segment that I put up. You're going to learn more about your country in the next hour than you've learned in your entire life. You're going to learn that it is, in fact, a police state. And that it's just... It's based on lies. I mean, it's lies. For example, the lie of effective representation for indigents. Okay? What happened in this case is that a Texas county got millions of dollars for a program, a federal program, that was going to allow it to close down drug dealing in rural areas, all right? So the sheriff had a problem. He had to show convictions, arrests and convictions for drug dealing to justify, getting another infusion of, $20 million or whatever it was here. So he hired a man with a serious criminal record, a real scumbag. It's Coleman. But after Coleman wrongfully arrested 46 black people, the local newspaper declared Tulsa streets are cleared of garbage. Now, we now know that he bought no cocaine from anyone in that town.
Yeah, there's a video.
That doesn't mean anything to you. It didn't mean anything to Ed Bradley didn't fully understand what he meant. He's not a lawyer. I was a lawyer for 30 years.
Oh, yes. You want to watch it?
No, I've seen it.
Play it for the viewers.
Not the whole thing. Oh, come on.
Tulia, Texas is the kind of town where the dust rises under your feet with every step, and they roll up the sidewalks just after dark. It's a place that's quiet and empty, and the folks who
What
live
part do
there...
you want to see?
The police came at dawn.
I was still asleep.
And I answered the door. It's two cops. I mean, everybody had guns, squad.
I opened the door and he said, "Dude, got a warrant for your arrest." I said, "Huh? For what?"
They said, for controlled substance.
And they said, "Well, you have a delivery of a controlled substance." And I said, "To who?" And he said, "Well, the man you delivered the drugs to will be downtown."
I was in my nightgown. They wouldn't let me put on pants.
I didn't have on nothing. I had no shoes, no socks, no shirt, just my boxers. And I asked to put my clothes on. They said, "Well, you don't need no clothes."
They were going to jail. Joe Henderson describes the humiliation.
He said, "If I don't get my black, in the car, I'm going to put you in the car." I said, "Don't do this in front of my kids." They were really shook up. They were just crying. And first thing out of the chief of police's mouth is that he said that we can do what we want to do.
Tulia's tiny African-American community of just 250 was devastated. Eventually, 46 people were arrested, all but 5 of them black. 30% of the adult black population indicted for selling drugs, mostly powdered cocaine, to an undercover police officer. We spoke with 5 of the Tulia defendants. Will Bryant was one of the first to go to jail.
When I got there was another guy in the cell, Vincent. Then Joe came in and Billy came in, and that morning they took the whole black community to jail.
The residents of Tulia, a predominantly white town, awoke that morning to these images on local television. Images of their black neighbors being hauled off to jail by the local sheriff, Larry Stewart.
I think this makes it very obvious that we have a problem. I can tell you we didn't get anybody.
But no drugs, money, or weapons were found in any of the houses. And what's more, there were identifications that did not match the suspects and seemingly powerful alibis. like forklift operator Billy Wafer. The husband and father of two was indicted for allegedly selling powdered cocaine at a local cattle auction, but he says he wasn't even there.
I had time cards showing that I was at work.
And Wafer says he had witnesses to back him up.
Some of these cases are obviously completely phony. Ewell Bryant's case, for example, dismissed by the state after he was in jail for 7 months.
American Civil Liberties Union attorney Jeff Blackburn represents Bryant in a multi-million-dollar civil rights lawsuit against Swisher County.
Okay, that's
Bryant's
enough.
police report describes him as a tall...
All right, so you get the idea. All right, so I'm going to use this example to demonstrate to you that our country is a blue state. Ed Bradley did not understand the implication fully of them not having any cocaine. There's no cocaine. If I had represented one of these defendants, I would have called the sheriff and I said, listen, I'm going to take your deposition about the disposition of the cocaine that was purchased from 46 black people because I've talked to Coleman and he says he's forgotten. In all 46 cases, he's forgotten what he did with the cocaine he bought. Okay? So, of course, he had to turn it into you, and I'm going to take your deposition about the disposition of the cocaine, unless all of these people are released immediately. That should have done the job. Where was the representation? How were these people uniformly convicted by juries and sent to jail? Some of them did 3 years in jail. There was no meaningful representation for 46 people. Okay. So is Swisher County, Texas, is that different than Hillsborough County, Florida, or any other county in the United States? Absolutely not. I can tell you from personal experience that my county, Tampa, was absolutely capable of doing this also. Of falsifying evidence, of suborning perjured testimony. I think this is just universal. Imagine how you are under pressure in South Chicago, and all these murders, and you're under pressure to get some convictions, and nobody will tell you anything, right? No black person is going to voluntarily be a witness in South Chicago of a murder. Are you kidding me? So what do? You find a black man with a criminal record, which is 40%, and you tell him what he's going to say, and he has no choice. He does it, and the defendant is convicted, and then 16 years later, it all comes apart, and the guy is out of prison. I'm extemporizing. I don't have notes or anything. I'm just talking about my thoughts about these things. So I think that process is absolutely commonplace, and it probably will explain most murder convictions, of black men. It wouldn't surprise me if it did not explain most convictions. And how often, of course, do they come apart and the innocent people are they released? Not often. Yeah. So, what are your chances if you are an innocent person of being acquitted by an American jury? They're about 2%, about 1 in 50. So that leads to innocent people pleading guilty because they know they have no realistic chance of acquittal. do people appreciate what this means? What it means is that if you are arrested and prosecuted, it's up to the prosecutor, you will be convicted, see? Whether you're innocent or not. I don't think that one American in 100 really appreciates this fact. So what we're describing here is a police state, like the Soviet Union. And what the American criminal lawyer does, if he's not actually working with the prosecutor, he is coercing his client to take the best deal he can get on a plea deal. We had a guy in Florida who got 4 years for murder. 4 years. Okay. A lazy prosecutor. Okay. Took whatever he could get. But it's easy to get something. Put the person in prison in the United States. So we are a police state. And you see what they do to these poor black people. It's just outrageous. God. Oh, what about the juries? How the hell they got a conviction every day? These are Americans convicting people consistently without evidence. The fact that the officer testifies, the undercover officer, oh, I bought cocaine from him. And the defendant's attorney, maybe he forgets to ask you, what'd you do with cocaine? You know, I looked into this and they don't have any cocaine. You know, you made $46, but they don't have, the sheriff's department doesn't have any of this cocaine. They never got any of it. What'd you do with it? Did you use it yourself? Defense verdict, you know, well, acquittal by the judge. I mean, a dismissal by the judge. So I want you to understand that, you know, you're not living in the land of the free. You're living in a police state that's no more just and fair than Stalin's. Okay? None whatsoever. Yeah, these people, this was such a flagrant case that these people have all been exonerated, and they're all going to get money, been through. But how often do you think that happens? You know, once in 500 cases where there's a wrongful conviction. It is the police misconduct, the wrongful conviction, the falsified evidence, the suborn testimony. Once in 500 convictions, maybe. Do you get a result like you did in Texas? So, yes, police brutality is a serious problem. And police throwing people up against black people up against cars is all very serious. It's got to stop. But this is not the biggie. The biggie is police state, wrongful arrests, wrongful convictions. That's what we should be focusing on. You know, these murders are bad. They sure are. The George Floyd. And I have this to contribute. I'm watching this fat police officer, he must be a sergeant, he had a white shirt on, or a captain rather. And he was, I think this was in Milwaukee, you'll remember this, it was on national news. He is beating this young white man with a baton. And he's just absolutely in a rage. And it's not like Rodney King, those beatings, okay? They were very cold-blooded. This policeman is just absolutely acting like what? A 10-year-old, okay? Because what does he have? He has arrested development, okay? How about this poor idiot that shot at somebody in the back because they ran away with his taser? I mean, a 10-year-old knows you're asking for big trouble. Let the guy go. You can get another taser. Okay? Arrested development. we're a very, very sick people. I mean, I'm going to tell you how sick we are as a nation, as a demographic, of 330 million people. My wife's stepfather was a Wehrmacht captain, right? Well, if you read the history of the Second World War and what these captured German soldiers went through, oh my God. They tried to starve them to death, and hundreds of thousands of cases they succeeded. Read BACQUE, BACQUE, other losses, and spread this around. Okay, before I'm taken down, spread that around. BACQUE, BACQUE, other losses. Okay. Right. So the survivors, all right, came back home, and they created the Wirtschaftswunder, okay, the business miracle in post-war Germany, which is a much more prosperous country than ours, despite the fact we have a greater GDP. And I've talked about what our GDP consists of. It consists of trillions of dollars of money spent by Americans on things they don't need, restaurant bills, food, lottery tickets, and booze, and drugs. Okay. My generation, when they came back from Vietnam, they all had post-traumatic stress disorder. Okay? And I don't doubt it. I don't doubt it. Because they didn't have, they became alcoholics, jailbirds, drug addicts. Whereas the Wehrmacht soldiers, built this Germany that's more competitive than the United States, with 80 million people versus our 330. It has a trade surplus bigger than China's. I don't mean a per capita trade surplus. I mean an absolute trade surplus bigger than China's, with 80 million people versus 1.4 million. Okay? A country rich enough to pay for free education, outstanding education, free medical care, outstanding medical care, to have a gross domestic debt, a national debt that's half of its gross domestic product annual, whereas ours is running far more than our entire $20 trillion gross domestic product. Our national debt is mushrooming now with the virus. It's probably like 23 trillion now. Okay? So my point is, we're sick puppies. Okay, we're sick puppies. We're sick. We're depraved. We're mentally ill. Okay. So we're not thinking about this. We're not thinking about this. We're deluding ourselves. I mean, no American, I have never met an American, except black Americans. They all know we live in these states. But white Americans, I've never met one. Because, see, we don't think. I talked about watching this video and then realizing, wait a minute, how could they get convictions in these cases if they could not account for the existence of the cocaine after the arrest? What happened to it? The undercover man couldn't remember what happened to it. 46 times. I mean, that's admissible, see, before the jury. Ed Bradley made this, he did a great job, except, he didn't ask that question about the representation, the misrepresentation, it's not called that. It's called ineffective representation of concept. Misrepresentation means something else. It means lie. Yeah, so we are really a mess. Americans, as human beings, are a mess. Okay. I talked about the Wells Fargo people and the fact that they were a representative sample of 60% of Americans. I talked about the loan agents who ripped off, that stole 2000s, of them stole in the years before 2008, 3 years, they stole, embezzled, ripped off $1 trillion from the taxpayer, causing being the main cause of the Great Recession. So, I mean, our people are in bad shape. And the number one step here is to realize this, okay? Realize it. And then the second step, do something about it. But first you have to believe it. And if you think all these Vietnam veterans who came back, to go to jail and to become drug abusers and alcoholics, if you think that they were this is a result of their service, for what, 2 years, with pretty minimal fatalities and injuries compared to their we're full of baloney. And the American people are just full of it. They're not dealing with reality. They're not understanding things. They're not understanding what things mean. Okay? It's not just the man on the street. It's Jordan Peterson. He's an abject fool. A pointy-headed. He's just a stereotypical college professor. That's what he is. He never lived outside the university. Never made a living. He was academically gifted, and he exploited that to become America's #1 public intellectual. So that makes sense. A public intellectual for nincompoops that don't really understand what's going on. So you can tell them anything. Oh, I'm going to tell you how to live. I'll give you 12 rules to follow. Pet cats. Don't lie. It's just a joke. It's just incredible. But I mean, so as Pogo said in the old cartoon, we have met the enemy, and it is us. Okay, we, the American people, we are the problem. Okay, let's understand that. Let's do something about it. And if you want to, I offered to take over the country. I'm being facetious. I don't know this thing seriously. I mean, the first thing I would do, I think it's supposed to be over here. First thing I would do is review all convictions. I bet you get a big surprise if you saw my review. I did Bradley's, but my review of all convictions, all the people in prison, or the people that made it into convicts didn't go to prison because they pled, they were forced to plead. It's so sick. It's so tragic. Okay, America, the wonderful, the marvelous. Okay. This is not true. I mean, it's America, the cage fight. America, the free-for-all. America, the war of every man against every man. You give this county, the sheriff, a few $1 million. You tell him all you got to do is get some convictions for selling drugs, and you're going to get it next year, and he's going to do it. I don't care who goes to prison, especially if you're black. They weren't all black. There were some white people. But I'll tell you how I feel about this police brutality and racism thing. I was talking to a young black woman in my bed, very nice kid, young kid, in her early 20s, and I said, I believe that most white Americans, if they could press a button and make every black person in the world vanish, without trace. And if they could do that if they could do that with complete impunity and anonymity, they would do it. You know what she said to me? He said, "Sure, I think liberals would too." I mean, that's more perspicacious than me. I mean, I don't see liberals like that. But she she's grown up in it, but she knows about liberals. Yeah. So I mean, that's how bad it is. It's real bad. Okay. So that's the building block. That's what you start with. You start with a really it's almost I think in our DNA, it's loathing, and we need to be aware of this so we can address it, do something about it. I mean, I don't think black people are that negative about white people at all. Not nearly. But there is. I mean, I was on the subway a few years ago. A black man singled me out. White and rich. Singled me out to die. He stood there in the door of the moving subway. Told me that I had to die because he was being evicted and his life was so horrible. And I thought he was going to kill me. I really did. I didn't move a muscle. The train stops. So, and I've had other experiences, like not as bad as this, but on the subway and elsewhere. So there is antipathy out there. It's probably demonstrated more often than vice versa. But the hatred is the loathing is in the white soul. Don't make any mistake about that. I mean, when they see, if you think you're going to get a conviction in the George Floyd case, you're dreaming, my friend. Candace Owens, a brilliant young black woman, right? She has spilled the beans. She objects to making Floyd a martyr for black people because she says he was in prison 3 times, and one of these times he was in prison for getting into a pregnant woman's apartment by saying that he or his friend were a utility man there to check something. They get in and they pillage the apartment looking for things to steal. He holds a gun at her pregnant midriff. Okay. And then at the scene of this horrible killing with the knee on the neck, he has been passing counterfeit money. Okay. Well, here's the bottom line, friends. Here's the bottom line. White people don't want these kind of people to be here. They don't want them to exist. They do want to press them on. They do want to make them disappear. So will they do their duty and convict in this case? It's possible. I doubt it. They're not going to convict. It's remotely possible. In the Taser case, that's wrong. That's all wrong because the law of that state says that if you're a police officer and a fleeing felon, if you think a fleeing felon it may injure someone else, if you have reason to believe a fleeing felon may injure someone else, you can use deadly force. Well, this guy had a taser and he had fired it at the officer, so he could put someone's eye out with that taser. So I don't think you're going to get a conviction there at all. And I question the validity of the arrest. I mean, what he did was outrageous, stupid, you know, but it was protected, I think, by the law. So you know, I think it was wrong. You see, most Americans are not far-sighted. You know, they don't realize what's going to happen now if we arrest, you know, the man who killed Floyd, and we try him, and this jury is going to know all about, you know, breaking in this woman's home and holding a gun at her midriff or her swollen stomach. They're all going to know that. They're all going to know about the cockroach money. They're all going to think of it as a cockroach. 2 legs. So when they when they arrested those officers, they should have thought twice about this, because just imagine what's going to happen when they're acquitted. So just imagine another Watts. Like, this is all a sick mess. You know, the whole thing. You know, the racism, hatred. The condition of black race, you know, in South Chicago, having 100 times more shootings in a year than Iceland has had in its history. It's really messed up. And we're not thinking about this. We're not trying to do anything about this. We don't want to know what the answer is. I know what the answer is. Okay? But I can't really tell you. It doesn't involve any kind of biology. I can't really tell you. You're not ready to hear this. Okay? See, Americans have been zombified so long that they are reflexive. They hear an idea that they've been taught for generations to reject, and they reflexively, you know, are horrified by the idea. Okay? So, the bad apple. The myth of the bad apple. Tech asked me to talk about it. I devoted a YouTube to the myth of the bad apple. And it may be up, so I will refer you to that YouTube. In the meantime, I'll see if I can find it, whether it's been taken down or not. If you have questions, you know, please submit them. Okay, I'm finished. And time?